Hello everyone, going for the turkey video number 3 today. This one is a new sort of reset thing. A new exotic weapon has come about, and that is the Traveler's Chosen, done through the evacuation / exodus quest. That starts out today when you visit, well, granted you did all of the exodus quests, which as a quick summary, it would have you go to each planet. You would pick it up from a Zavala, and it took you through Io, Mercury, Mars, Titan, various other planets that are leaving come, what's the word? Well, I think it's actually just whatever planet has a pyramid ship on it. But basically, you would just do some random objectives, a bounty, a strike, some simple stuff. And then that would continue today when they actually confirm the evacuation is happening. So, starting with the dialogue, it says, Sloan asked whether we could spare a Vanguard ship to relocate important cargo coming from her that's full-on distress call, head to Titan, help her tie up loose ends, and bring her home. As well as Ashermere on Io, blah, blah, blah. And then, basically, we just start going about and helping evacuate various places. So, it starts off taking you to Io, speaking with Ashermere, and there's various other steps that I will cover as they come by. But although the quest is quite repetitive, so I think you do a lot of the same things on different planets. According to Datto, this is about an 1.5 to 2 hour grind if you put your nose to it and just get it done with various tedious and repetitive steps on various planets. And aside from that, I shall still show you each and every one as required. So let's get to it. Okay, continuing on, after you visit Asher and basically talk to him, he will task you with basically this. Run the Sanctum of Bones. It'll ask you to kill some Taken. You'll get what you see on screen right now, the Trace of Corruption. It will ask you to also loot the chest and kill, I believe it said the Phalanx Barrier Echo, which might be an extra boss. I will see if I can find it somewhere in here. But to basically say, it ends up being run the Lost Sector. You don't have to do start to finish. Basically, you'll just want to kill as many things to actually spawn enough of the Taken Corruption, which I believe is 25, just off the top of my head after recently seeing it. Yep. Well, hang on, once that last bit goes away. Yes, 25. And so we will get the Taken sample off of this guy, the altered thing. Oh, my super's not up. Who is pretty beefy considering my... Oh god, I'm actually getting hurt. But yeah, essentially you'll kill the final boss and collect the chest, as well as killing this alternate HVT. So yeah, that's all you really need to do. And some oppressive darkness and some sword swings later, he is dead. As well as this guy soon, hopefully. Yeah, he'll die soon. Let me just come back here. Let me just finish him off so I can get 2 in 1. Give me this chest, please. Thank you. Alright, so into the Pyramidion, which I suppose... Yep, it has you go back into the Pyramidion and ask for 40 scan traces. Which I believe is just going to be killing something. Just killing Taken in there. But just defeating Vex anywhere in Io. So you'll likely encounter Vex while in the Pyramidion, so that can take care of itself. But I shall catch up with you once we finish that. Okie dokie. So, right off the fresh Pyramidion, it will have you enter a heroic reprieve, a fancy word, basically a heroic version, of the unexpected guest's adventure. I'm not sure if this is a daily thing. I think it might line up with strike modifiers, because it is Void Singe, Heavyweight, and Iron, which is essentially the let me put on a heavy, I'm going to murder every strike boss in half a second modifier set. So aside from that, that is about as all as it is. I believe that is the most of what you need to do. Because I think you do like the advanced steps and various planets. If there's any sort of different things, I'm gonna... If there's... words. Okay, let me re-sum. If there's any steps that are very similar to this, I'm just gonna gloss over them. I will pertain information regarding new steps, just so it stays plain. I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing with my means to an end. Once we get through a full set, then I will go with detail once we're through the full set, and it's just the same thing with little tiny different details all sum up. So, continuing on, here we go. Okay, after that quest step, it will take you back to Asher Mir, who will give you the Silicon Neuroma, a Year 1 sniper introduced when Nightfall exclusive loot was first introduced. This is the one that goes along with the Pyramidion, which is unfortunately not a Year 2 reprieve with random rolls. It is still the Year 1 version with static rolls. It's still a decent sniper, though, and that will finish your time on Io and start taking you to other planets. Now, like I just said, if it is a similar quest step, I will cut around it and do a quick sum up, but if it is a new thing, I will be sure to include that in detail. So, moving on, let us see where the bump in the roads takes us. So, wrapping up Titan, no big major pointers aside from a few little details. On step 1, it will ask you to go into the methane flush law sector, essentially kill the boss, collect chest, and kill the additional HVT in there that it will mark for you. The only additional thing that might be a little bit problematic for some people is, here, let me show you on the map, is it asks you to go to the Festering Hall in the Solarium. Basically, that is follow the initial path for Savathun's Song, but when you enter the big room, there will be a knight right in the middle of the room. Savathun's Song takes you this way, down this path. You're going to want to follow this path towards the Festering Halls. It will say collect the chest, it'll give you a marker for the boss. Do not do what I did and kill the boss and walk away from the chest, because if you walk out of the room, it'll respawn the boss and you have to kill him again. It's not too beefy, but at the same time, it is a waste of time. So be sure to collect the chest once you actually kill the HVTs. After that, it will send you into Savathun's Song, but it gets a little bit more specific. Last time, it just had you kill Vex and the Pyramidion. Now it is asking specifically for items that are dropped by knights, wizards, and ogres. Now, Savathun's Song is populated by a lot of them, especially if the entire boss phase goes start to finish, but it is a little iffy on proccing. It did seem to, in the end, actually give me a component for everything, regardless of whether or not I did shoot it or not. But it's a little bit iffy, especially with people that you'll run into random stripe matchmaking that'll just run ahead. But essentially, you'll want to be sure to kill at least all the wizards, knights, and ogres that you come across in the mission, and then essentially just finish Savathun's Song. Once you do that, you will be given the Year 1 version, because it is still the Year 1 version, of Duty Bound, which wasn't a bad auto rifle. This was the Nightfall exclusive for Savathun's Song for a while. It's not bad looking or performing, but at the same time, it is still a Year 1 version. It had a good arrangement of perks, either Zen Moment or Rampage, as well as Ricochet rounds or Accurized rounds, and some pretty good sights. But at the same time, in the end of the day, it is a Year 1 version, so it will not have it too long. Moving on, it shall be Mercury next, I believe. Oh no, I go visit the Zavala. So we shall see where this takes us. I believe this will just stop by. I will see what it is about. So, upon returning to the tower, you will meet Zavala, who will essentially send you further on to Anabrea on Mars, as well as Brother Vance on Mercury, which I believe this is the halfway point of the step. Now, I was told if you didn't have a Mindbender's ambition, you'd be given one, but I believe it is giving everyone one anyways. Now, for those that don't know, this is essentially a aggressive frame, mostly one-shot shotgun. For Crucible, this dominated for the longest time because it was the only thing that could roll with both Quick Draw and Snapshot. But the one he gives you is essentially a damn near close counter, because it comes with Rampage and Pulse Monitor. Pulse Monitor is not the greatest. It comes with some of the best range barrel perks, as well as range mag perks, as well as a range masterwork. So if you wanted a good aggressive frame shotgun, this is one to pick up. Although, unfortunately, it is dying out this season, so it will cap out and will no longer be able to go forward. It is being sunset, but at the same time, this is a good shotgun to use just for laughs. So the quest will take you to a Mercury next, which I shall do the same thing. I shall do all of the things, just sum up in the end the off details or different things that need doing. Moving on. Okay, so that was a bit of a long one, but moving on from that, basically, it just has you run each strike from Mercury, a Garden World, and a Tree of Probabilities. Both were each of the scenarios before. A Garden World requested Minotaurs, Hydras, More so the upper, not rank and not standard enemies, the bigger ones. I forget. There was a third, I think. I think it was Hydras and Minotaurs and one other thing. But aside from that, they ask for those for a garden world, and then it takes you to a tree of probabilities and asks for Cabal killed. Both, same thing. If well, I mean, man, I'm struggling because this is I'm doing this all in one sitting, so it's a bit rough. So yeah, after that, it would just be a heroic reprise of, I believe, a bug in the system. I forget the modifiers required. There's now a dog in the room, if you hear a bang. And aside from that, there isn't much different from Mercury. Like I said, it's just a garden world and tree of probabilities, both versions of strikes we've seen before, and a heroic mission. And then it rewards you with the DFA, both a pretty hand cannon, or a well-performing, and a good-looking one. If it would load, it was supposed to look more so Cabal themed, more so in the not Velista Arc, whatever one we just killed for this mission. And this is still a year one variety, so it either has opening shot or rampage. It's static rolls. Aside from that, that is all for Mercury. Moving on to Mars next, which I think should be the last one. So, as a quick interlude, as the Mars one starts off a little bit awkward, as you go along Mind Lab's, well, it's going to start by telling you to find Mind Lab Rasputin in a data log. Essentially, you would enter through that door, and normally to head towards Rasputin, you'd go down there. But a marker will pop up and have you go over here into this tiny little event and go back here and scan this monitor. Most people who did not spend a lot of time searching for the nodes, because I believe there is one in here somewhere in one of these rooms. But basically, if not many people knew this vent was here because they didn't need it. So just a quick little showing of that before. What is the next step? Frame pieces. What is that for? Because there was a text that said enact escalation protocol. Rasputin frame defeat bosses escalation protocol. So that's it. Escalation protocol, there are tutorials everywhere. Basically, it's just waves and waves of Hive until the last wave, which will throw out a boss at you. It's not too hard, especially since it's only asking for 5 waves of bosses. If you truly didn't have anyone to help you with it, you could just do the first wave boss. It is super easy to kill on your own nowadays. And while it's still in the year 1 static roll format, it wasn't the easiest, but now it is a lot simpler. But aside from that, continuing on. So with that, that is all of Mars. It'll award you the Braytech Osprey, which, by the way, if anyone has been missing Wayfarer pieces that were Nightfall loot, like a friend of mine who is missing the Braytech Osprey from the Strange Terrain Strike just because his drop chances are horrible, this is a sort of wrap-up. This gives you, obviously, every Nightfall exclusive in addition to a bunch of new guns that were reprised into Season of Arrival. I'll say Season of Arrival Age. So, basically, if you were missing anything, this is a good quest to do this all. But with that, you collect your Braytech Osprey, and it tells you to return to Zavala, which I believe is the final step. Because you visited all planets, I think that is the last of it. But let's just keep recording and going through it just to see, just so I don't have to make a new file. Okay, with the subtle fan in the background of my laptop working overtime as I open my editing software, here's this dialogue.
Anna Bray will join us in the tower with what she salvaged of Rasputin. But the rest... Let Brother Vance chase shadows. We can waste no more time trying to stop him. Ashemir will stand and fight. He still has the heart of a guardian. And Deputy Commander Slow. She plans to loot the pyramid above Titan head on, one woman against the darkness. What more could I have done? I tried to unite the Vanguard, and now we lie splintered in the face of the Dark Fleet. All we have left is our faith. Faith in the Traveler. Faith in the light. Faith in you.
So that should be it. Yep, here we go. Traveler's Chosen, a new exotic sidearm. And those who have been around at the end of year 3,
It's good to see.
when the Kvostov quest came back around to earn the exotic variant of the Kvostov, this is essentially sort of the same thing. It is not a reprisal or a tour of old.
Cannot weaver.
Well, it's not a tour of old memories and seven. It just kind of runs us through the areas that we're going to be missing come the new thing. It's a little run through the old missions before we lose them, and a last second earning of items before we can no longer. So, going over Traveler's Chosen, it is a 300 round per minute sidearm, 15 shots in the mag, pretty good perks and stats all around. Starting with, we have the Quick Dot SAS for slightly increased handling and stability, armor piercing rounds, the Gift of the Traveler, a perk based on the intrinsic, and short action stock for handling speed. Basically, final blows of this weapon will earn a stack of Gathering Light. If you long press X or whatever your action skill is, it'll consume the stacks, granting melee, grenade, and class ability energy based on the number of stacks. And in addition, with each stack of Gathering Light, improves the reload, handling, and target acquisition. So it's generally a stat boost. It's not a damage boost or a reload. Phone's going off. Damn you, emails. But yeah, so it is a performance boosting as well as a energy retrieval. And I think, according to videos I've seen, it stacks up to 10 all the way up to 10. And so, here, let me equip some other things and put this on. Bink. So, with that, it's a nice little dinky sidearm right there. It goes all the way to 10, and I believe it'll refresh all of your action skills. I say action skills and not abilities, because super goes in that. It will refresh grenade, melee, and class abilities pretty well off. Aside from that, that is the Traveler's Chosen quest. It is a run-through of old encounters and things. I didn't go too in-depth because I have faith in anyone watching this that they know how to run strikes, kill bosses, complete adventures, basically play Destiny. This was just a brief run-through of letting you know what is coming. And for those who want it as well, this happens with most exotics that come out nowadays. There is an ornament available for Traveler's Chosen that, here, let me see if I can bring it up. It was seen in my other video on the reset. It is the Sand and Sun, which is basically a nice little, well, I won't say crucible ornament, but it's very crucible-like. It's a very neon red, which I'm probably going to get, just because the blue and silver isn't my cup of tea, per se. So with that has been how to get Traveler's Chosen. If you enjoyed the video or liked my content, please like, subscribe, and share. It would help out the channel a lot. With that, my name is Mad Scorpion, and I will see you in the